Good morning, gang. Good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome back to this week's Bitcoin update. First and foremost, remember, nothing discussed today is financial advice. It's just for educational purposes, and it's my view of the markets. And now we've got that out of the way, let's jump into the Bitcoin chart. We'll do a quick follow-up from our Monday video. Obviously, we did an emergency video on Monday, and then I'll talk you through what I'm looking at next. Okay, so stick with me on this. I'm going to try to teach you guys some stuff. Follow along. And yeah, let's jump straight in. So obviously we know we opened up the week. Weekly open was obviously here. We had the big nuke down, which obviously upset a lot of people. One of the biggest liquidation weeks we've seen in a very, very long time. And then obviously we were doing the video when we were down here. So let's just dive straight into that. So let's go full screen so you guys can see this clearly. Now, as I was saying to you guys on Monday, the plans were quite simple in this. I were in no rush to jump into a position, and this is where people go wrong. So obviously people see tanking price action like this, and people just desperately trying to catch wicks. And I don't understand why people do this. I kind of get it in the early days, I do, but unless you're some sort of influencer and you're trying to post a screenshot on Twitter saying, oh look, I've got a P&L shot of catching the absolute bottom before it rises to the upside, it's pointless, it's stupid. Okay, that's what influencers do. Traders don't do that. Traders wait for something obvious. They wait for a sign of strength. Now, what was I waiting for? So if you cast your mind back to Monday's video, there was a couple of things. Okay, we're just going to ignore this for the time being. There was a couple of things. By the time I was recording Monday's video, we were here. Okay, and I said we'll potentially have a bit of a range forming. Now, if I just squiggle this back slightly, there we go. So, range high, range low. Obviously, this was the bottom of the move itself. Up into range high. Now you can see here, I've got a green squiggly line here. This is the VWAP. So this is what was capping price at the time. So what I was saying on that video was, and this was the same update to I give to the members, by the way, is what I want to see is I want to see price develop. And within this, what I'd ideally have liked to see is price to come down, especially when New York came online on New York Open, to come down, run this low, get a swing failure pattern, take out any of the stops that were down here, anyone that tried to long this aggressively, and then I would have got involved down here, reclaim the local range, and I'd have just been quite happy trading this local range, okay? And obviously if it did break out like it did, then great, you let your winners run. So that's what I was looking for. Now, unfortunately, when New York opened, here, price just went straight up. So for me, there was no long trigger down here, and that's absolutely fine. Now, the other alternative I was looking for, and this is what I was saying on the on Monday's video, if you go back and watch it, is I was looking for a break of structure. Now, I'm looking at the 30-minute chart. I do most of my business on the 30-minute chart, by the way. I was looking for a break of structure. So this was the high that caused the low. So if we broke structure above here, then I'd have got involved. So what did we do? We came down, we came up, we broke structure, and then we pulled back down. Now, at this point here, this is where I'm updating my members. So I'm saying we've now had a 30-minute market structure break to the upside. However, I'm only interested if the 382 holds, which is roughly the VWAP. Okay, we've had a strong break. What do I mean by that? Strong break up. This is just up only candles, no down candles. Within this, this is a strong break, and there was good order flow at the same time. Okay, so we've had a strong break. I want to see follow through. If not, I'm personally going to sit back and wait, even if that means I get involved later. So this is the beauty of being a trader, is understanding what you want to see. Are we in an area of interest? Yes. I've been talking about this zone for months on this channel. Okay. Do I get my entry criteria? Well, my entry criteria was very specific on this. What I wanted to see is I wanted to see fib from the low up to the break. I wanted to see the 382. You can barely see it here. I've just hide that. The 382 and the VWAP hold. If these hold, then I've got a long trigger, which it held. I got the long trigger. Great. And obviously, if we go back a step, all we've done is we've formulated this range, we've broken out of this range, we've back tested this range onto the 382, onto the VWAP, and then we continue grinding up. So obviously, from that to the current highs, we've got a nice 9% rise. Happy days, great trade. And that to me was the safest trade that you could have had in that region. So that's why obviously I'm updating the members in the group saying this is what I'm looking for. Now, If you guys want access to my live in the time updates and my daily live streams, along with all the other educational content, then head over to the website. This is a bit of a shill, I'm not going to lie. Head over to the website and you will get access to this. So this is inside our private group. So every single day of the week, you can see I've already done this morning's update, this morning's live stream. I run through my own trading plans. This is where I want to do business and why I want to do business there and what I want to see in that region to do business. Now, I want to make this really clear. This is not a signal service. This isn't entry, take profit, stop loss. I don't give signals. Okay. The whole idea of this, of the members group, is that you can go through the content. There is over 80 individual modules on here to go through. And this is exactly what I use to trade and how I use it. So all the theory, and also then every week you'll see it on the daily trading plans where I'm live charting. I also do it on my swing trading plans. We did Bitcoin, ETH, and traditional market. Oh, in fact, we also did Sol on this week's Chart and Chill. So all my swing trading plans, whether I think the market's going to go up, whether I think the market's going to go down, and what I plan to do in either scenario, all on there. So you guys get to see it all in real time. So it's not a signal service, but if you do study all the modules, then you will understand exactly what I want to see in these areas, and you can use my trading plans as confluence with your own. Okay. Now, going back to the charts, what's going to happen next? Okay. Once again, I'm not going to sit here and laugh. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I know where I want to do business. So let's zoom out. Okay. So obviously we know about this range. We know about this range. We've talked about this range for such a long time now. For over 5 months, this range has been in play. So for me here, if we move up from this zone, first and foremost, we've got a big region here, So what's within this region? We've got, in fact, let's zoom in so we can see this a little bit better. Within this region, we've got the macro range low. We've also got a naked point of control just under that macro range low. This is loosely coming in between 58 and 90k. Okay, now on top of that, we've also got the old psychological 60k number. You know, crypto bros, they love the round numbers. So this is a bit of a big zone, is this? Within this zone, it's kind of key to know what's going to go on. Do we, A, come up into this zone, start to reject, start to break down, start to lose some market structure? Great. If that happens, I've got a short trigger. Okay. Now, the flip side of that is, do we get back into this, reclaim that magical 60k, psychological, hold range low, and then continue up? Great. If we do, I like my longs run. Because then we're just back in the macro range. That's all it is. We're range bound until proven otherwise. I'll always say this. Outside of the range, you've got questions. Can we get back in? Can we not get back in? Is it just a deviation and then reclaim before moving up? Deviation, reclaim before moving up? Could we have the same thing again now? Yeah, we could. I don't know if that's going to happen, but nobody does. The beauty of trading. But obviously, if we get the reclaim and we start moving up, then it becomes quite simple again. We just carry on trading the range, and eventually the range is going to break. So if we do get back in the range, throw on the volume profile, and there we go. That's what we can look for. First and foremost, can we get acceptance back in to value? Yes, great, cool. We move up. If we do move up, we do have a very high volume sticky zone right here. This is something that you have to be aware of. There are individual levels within here, but just for the public YouTube, I'm keeping it nice and simple. So if we can flip this zone and carry on going up, the next major zone, pretty obvious. Macro EQ / point of control. It's been the same thing throughout this entire range. The same thing. If we can flip that and start heading up, then the odds really do increase for taking out that 70k number. At that 70k number, we know its value very high, so we know its resistance. So the first thing I'm going to be looking for is, do we just pop up and get back down? Great, cool, I've got a short trigger. Or do we pop up, range, and continue grinding up. If we do, then that's going to look really strong. And in that case, the odds massively move in favour for range highs. Now, once again, your standard influencer in this example is going to get extremely bullish here, because this is what happens. People get extremely bullish as you move up to range high, and they get extremely bearish at range low. But you've got to flip your mentality, because if we do come up to range high, I will be looking for, do we just peak above, get back down, and reject? Great, cool. I got a short trigger. I will short that. Because at range highs, I'm not looking for longs. Okay, just like what happened here. People long this little tiny breakout of this, and they got absolutely destroyed. Just like people shorted down here. What happened? They got absolutely destroyed. When price action is range bound, this is easy to see when people are offside. Easy to see when people are offside. And this is what most traders go wrong with, or most wannabe traders. Okay. The alternative is, does it break out and it just continues up? Great, cool. Let it run. Let it run. Buy dips. Trade the trend. Great. Happy days. Okay. So that's to the upside, but obviously we do have all these levels in between, like I've just discussed. Now, if we do go back even further, come on. There we go. If we do reject in this zone and start heading down, okay, for me, the crucial line kind of becomes holding on. Let's just drag this up. If we, again, this is based on if we do come up higher. If we start to roll over where we are right now, by the way, I'm not interested. I just sit out of any trade. Okay. I know where I want to do business. I know what I want to see if I get said business. So if we do come up to range high and then start to reject and gives me a sell opportunity, a short opportunity, great, cool. Then the big question is, does the golden pocket down to the 786 hold? If it does, great, cool. I've also got a long trigger, and that way I can be short from here and I can be long from here. I'm hedged. I will have taken profits from here, especially if we get down there. I'll locked in some profits there, moved my stops to entry, becomes a risk-free trade. Likewise, down here, if this starts running up, back up, great, I'll lock in a TP1 at the next major resistance zone. Bear in mind, I don't know what price action will look like down here, so therefore I don't know what volume's going to look like, so I can't tell you in advance what the next major resistance zone will be, because price action needs to develop. Again, this is all hindsight. This is all crystal ball. Okay, but that puts you in a really nice position where you can be short from the highs and you can be long from the lows, and then you don't care if it goes that way or it goes that way, because either way you win. That's the whole idea of trading, is to make money. Okay, this is why I don't understand one-directional traders. If we do roll down lower, obviously, have we just formulated, as I've just said there, just potentially one big range? Cool. Right, well, if it comes down here, do we just come down here, do that, carry on heading up, come up here, do that? Yeah, cool. We could do that. Nice range going on. Or if we go down lower, then once again, it's the same ideas as I've been talking about for a long time. Throw on an anchored volume profile from the absolute low, and it captures all this. Everything from the absolute low is captured all this. So if we do come down and we don't just do a little cheeky SFP of this low, and we start heading down lower, it becomes very obvious where the volume is. Where the volume is where price is most likely to slow down, stall, potentially reverse. That's what we're looking for. So within this zone here, once again, point this out. Get the opens on. Yearly open. Around that level. Okay. Now, once again, it's not just a perfect level. This is what a lot of people will watch these videos and they'll go, right, I'm just going to stick some limit orders down here. Hope for best. Well, by doing that, what if it just goes like that? You lose. And there was no reason to take that loss. There was no reason to take that loss. Again, I'm patient, just like I've been patient here. Okay, I was patient. I knew what I wanted to see. I either wanted to see the lows run, I'd have got a long trigger, or I wanted to see structure broken, and I wanted it to hold VWAP. I've got a long trigger. I know what I want to see in these levels, and if I don't see either of those, then quite simply, there's just no trade. I only want a high probability setup. If I don't get a high probability setup, there's no trade. Okay, so likewise, if we do come down here, and I don't get a high probability setup within this region, down to these lows down here, down about 38k, up to these highs here, obviously, this low here was this high, by the way. this range. If I don't get a high probability setup in there, then I sit back and I wait. And I just keep doing that until I get a high probability setup. This doesn't hold and we go lower. It's pretty obvious. Where's the next volume? Well, it's back within this range. Yeah. We'll just play it level to level. Know where you want to do business and know what you want to see in that area to take the trade. Know where you're wrong. Know where you want to take profits. Know what your entry criteria is. Okay? That's it. Obviously, I don't get paid for doing these videos, guys, so if you wouldn't mind doing me a massive favour, if you've enjoyed today's content, hit that like button. Leave a comment down below because it really helps boost the algorithm. And until next time, gang, as you were, bye-bye.